Hey everybody, I'm Kyle from Project Exposure, and today I'm here with Ariana, and we're going to be talking about her magazine and what she does. This is one of her latest editions. So, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me here, Kyle. It's lovely to be part of this interview. My name's Ariana Abawe. I'm a British Afghan journalist. I'm originally from Afghanistan, and I came to the UK when I just turned one from Afghanistan. I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan, and me and my family came to the UK as refugees, fleeing conflict back home. And I spent all my life living in the UK, going primary school, high school, university. I graduated from Brunel University of London, studying journalism, and I graduated in 2020. So yeah, that's just a little bit about myself.
So, did you find in the process that you've gone back and you've noticed, obviously, the difference of the culture?
So the last time I went to Afghanistan was quite a while ago. It was over 10 years ago I went to Afghanistan, so Kabul, Afghanistan, which is the capital. So going back there was definitely a cultural shock in terms of many aspects. Of course, the people there, they're different in the way they speak. They speak Dari or Pashto, which are the national languages. Here we speak English. And also clothing, of course, was slightly different. But of course, some people did wear like Western style clothing too. Also the weather there, the time I went was summer, so it was quite hot, and we had a mountainous landscape. Over here we don't have a mountainous landscape, so there is cultural shocks, but it was amazing to be part of my fellow Afghans and to be back there. So I do hope, hopefully in the near future, I go back there again.
Yeah, and it'll be obviously from the difference of the time where you went previously, there's going to be a massive lot of change, obviously for better, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I would say one of the most things that would have impacted me in that would have been the weather. Coming from obviously the weather we have in this country to a very strong heat would have made a massive difference. I would have been sweating a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a bit more about your company and your magazine. I think you mentioned that you started the magazine just after finishing university.
Yes.
So it was quite a strong move, and it must have been very scary for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. So once I was studying journalism at university, I was also the president of the Afghan Society. Yeah, so during my time, of course, everyone goes to Freshers' Fair the first week of starting university. And once I went there, I was trying to find the Afghan Society. But when I went there trying to find different societies, I didn't come across the Afghan Society. And then once I asked people, where's the Afghan Society? They said there used to be one, but it's not active anymore. So then I ran for president. I became the president of the Afghan Society, held various different cultural events to showcase the Afghan culture to non-Afghans, students who are not Afghan. And also then while studying journalism at university, I've been passionate about my culture to show the beautiful and positive side of it. So while studying journalism, of course, in the news, you would also see lots of negativity whenever Afghanistan is showcased. So I was also, whenever I was doing my courseworks or my exams, I was also trying to highlight Afghanistan in that at the same time. So then once researching and searching about magazines, there wasn't any about Afghanistan. I didn't come across one that was solely in English and showcasing its beauty and its positivity. I did come across, like in the 1920s, the Queen, former Queen of Afghanistan, she had her own magazine about women and promoting healthcare. But there wasn't a magazine solely about the culture and written in English. So then I started it during uni, and I had in mind to publish it after I graduated. Then in 2019, COVID hit. And that was during my time at university, coming closer to graduating. So there was a bit of hesitance if I should continue publishing magazine, because during that time, of course, there's less integration, there's less people going to read magazines or going outside, you know, in the normal spaces where magazines are read, like offices or, you know, dentistries, opticians, and so forth. So after graduating, it was during COVID. I didn't get to have my graduation in person. It was online. But thankfully, last year I did have it in person. So once graduating, I started my magazine, Ariana Magazine, and published the first issue. There was problems in terms of finances, in terms of COVID, and putting myself all out there to start this magazine without any finances. But I'm really thankful for starting it and for seeing it growing so much.
So from a lot of what I can take there, you've persevered quite a lot to get to the position where you're at now, which is a very big thing to be proud of. Going from the fact of not only studying at uni and trying to pass your course, you took on the opportunity to try and highlight that a lot of negativity that obviously comes from there. It's not all about that. That's what mainstream news would like to show you, but there's always good in the world. And that's obviously from what I can see and what I've read, that's what you want to highlight and show people that it's not just about the bad stuff. There's always good stuff to see, which I can see your passion for it, and it's something that I love to see, that someone wants to spread the good in the world as well. They don't want to just highlight the negative stuff that happens over there.
Yeah.
So how have you managed to achieve your position, especially in a male-dominated industry? Because that's something to be proud of in its own, that you managed to succeed and get to where you are now in a place that a lot of people would have turned around and shunned you or pushed you aside just because you were a female.
Yeah, thank you so much. So while studying journalism at Brunel University of London, my class was actually very small. There was 20 people, and when I saw other classes and other courses, they had over hundreds of people attending their lectures and so forth. In my class, there was a mixture of male and female, but of course, in the news or newsrooms, you could see whilst I went for work experience, I went to work experience for BBC and MyLondon, which was formerly known as Get West London. Of course, there was mainly seen as male-dominated at that time. Of course, previously as well, whenever you see news or journalism, it is male-dominated. Thankfully, now it has progressed and there's more variety and diversity. But thankfully, as an Afghan, if you go to Afghanistan, journalism for females is really tricky. It's a really tricky subject because of freedom of expression, and being a female, there are restrictions. And thankfully, I'm really thankful to be a journalist as a female, as an Afghan, because I'm breaking those barriers, talking and being the face, and as a journalist, speaking with others, interviewing them. So thankfully now those barriers are being broken down, and I'm thankful to be part of such an industry to show that women can do such things.
So touching on that, how is it received when you go over to Afghanistan? Because obviously being around the culture has been majorly different. You having that position, how was it taken in? How do you feel about it as well?
So as I mentioned, it's been 10 years, over 10 years. I haven't been back to Afghanistan, but through social media and the reception of the magazine from my fellow Afghans, it's been seen as really positive. Lots of them have been proud. People have been sending me messages, especially from Afghanistan, that thank you so much. You make us really proud that you're showcasing our Afghan culture to a wider platform, because the magazine is not just for Afghans, it's for non-Afghans, and I want to showcase that. So they're really proud and they keep supporting me, so I'm thankful for their support. Of course, there are restrictions, as I mentioned, for women, especially now as the Taliban have taken over the country once again. There's restrictions on women attending secondary education, university, and jobs like journalism is a no for them as well. Being the face of the camera and speaking out or voicing other people's stories. So yeah, people from Afghanistan have supported me, and they're supporting me to advocate and showcase Afghanistan on a wider scale.
With the beauty of that as well, you got to think that you're a role model to a lot of people out there. People want to aspire that, and that must give you a lot of self-joy in yourself, because if you get to wake up in the morning knowing that you're bringing an opportunity to people, knowing that there is a future, that you can go forward, and it's, as we said, it's not all about the negative. There's a positive look in life. So one of the next questions: do you have a team, or are you all self-working?
Yes. So once I started Ariana Magazine, graduating, coming fresh from university, it was all by myself. And as I mentioned, it was really tricky to raise funds from my own pocket to fund the magazine, because printing does cost a lot. although Ariana Magazine is in digital and in print, there is a tricky aspect to that. So initially, I didn't have a team. I did the interviews, the research, the graphic design, forming the magazine all myself. But I did get support from family, friends, and getting advice from my family, especially my parents, in terms of what content I should include and their advice on the features. Whenever I printed an edition, I would always show them and get advice from them. What do you guys think? And as the issues went along and progressed, they said it's got even better and better. So as the magazine did grow, I did get submissions around the world. So I get submissions from articles, artwork, news article in the theme of the beautiful side of Afghanistan. So in that aspect, people do contribute submissions for the magazine to compile it and to create content for it. And in terms of covers, most of the covers are international, the people that I feature on the cover of the magazine. So I arrange shoots remotely in the UK. So I arrange a photographer. Let's say, for example, there's this magazine, as well as this magazine. Let's talk about this one. So this is Abbas Alizadeh. He's known as the Bruce Lee of Afghanistan. At this time, he was in Afghanistan. And so how I combined the shoot was I contacted a photographer there, I contacted him, I contacted a clothing line, and all compiled together. We arranged a date whilst I was here in the UK. I didn't travel back, and I arranged the shoot. So it is amazing to be able to work with different creatives around the world to bring an image to life. And in that aspect, I have a team, as well as in events. I hold a lot of cultural events in the UK, which also support the less fortunate in Afghanistan. So I have different areas where people support in terms of fashion shows. There's clothing companies here, which we work together. There's people in photography, in hosting, in different aspects. So I have teams here and there. But initially, when I did start interviewing, creating it, researching, it was solely all me, but thankfully I've got support and willingly wanting to contribute and work with me.
So with the events, that gives you the opportunity for the people that helped you to also give back to them as well. So you can spread yourself more around as global. So you can have a bigger audience and bigger reach. And so what type of events do you cover that obviously help with that as well?
So I hold a variety of different events. So to name some, I had the British Afghan Business Awards in the UK, in central London, at Pink. And there we highlighted lots of Afghan businesses in the UK and celebrating their successes in different areas: food, accountancy, makeup, and so forth. And then also I held cultural charity events in the UK, which had over 400 people attending each event, and also raised funds for the less fortunate in Afghanistan to provide them with food packs with necessities. As we know now, the poverty in Afghanistan is ultimate high. They are suffering a lot of unemployment, as well as needing food necessities because of restrictions on work, unemployment, and also the effects of war that Afghanistan has faced, over 40 years of war. So in that aspect, I've held a variety of different events. This year, I held International Women's Day event for Afghan women, and we had a panel discussion. And then also formally in April, there was an Eid event. This was one of the biggest events I was part of. It was held by the Mayor of London. So they held Eid in the Square event, where thousands of people attended. And in that event, it was this section that I was part of. It was by Cultural Style Week and Cultural Arts and Fashion. So I was able to showcase Afghanistan's culture on the first time in Trafalgar Square on such a large scale, to thousands of people. So it made me really proud, and I'm really thankful for these opportunities of having such events to showcase my culture and also help the less fortunate as well whenever I'm able to.
That is generally brilliant here, and especially to have such a large event like that to go successful and bring the presence out more and help people understand what your message is. So let's go a bit more. How do you choose people for the front of the cover then?
That is a really good question. So there are funnily enough, lots of people do message me and contact me saying, I want to be part of the cover, I want to be part of the cover, but I can't say yes to everyone. There are people and I ask them, what do you do? Give me more information about yourself, because I don't just put anyone on the cover. There has to be different elements which they should tick. For example, mainly in the magazine, I've featured people like content creators. I don't know if you know of Drew Bingsky, or
No.
there's some people who are travel bloggers who are not Afghan, but I also feature their experiences. They have traveled to Afghanistan, for example. So they're also highlighting its positivity, the food and culture. So I also feature non-Afghans, but on the cover I feature Afghans who have done something for the Afghan community, especially if it's something new or something really interesting or something to highlight. So each cover, they must wear something Afghan, so Afghan clothing, as you can see. They all must wear Afghan clothing, that's a must. And then second of all, they must be Afghan or have done something for Afghanistan, for example. Here we have Bejan Neriman. He released an Afghan movie, an international movie called MyLondon. Here's Annette Mahandru. She is an Afghan-American actress. She was born in Afghanistan and she plays in The Walking Dead. There's Abbas Alizadan, known as the Bruce Lee of Afghanistan, and he's hoping to be in a Hollywood movie. And then there's also Bibi Aisha. So her image was featured on the Times Magazine. Her image was really traumatic and she's really inspirational. And so she faced a traumatic experience in Afghanistan whereby her husband and her brother-in-law, they chopped off her ears and nose, and then her family abandoned her and she tried to get help, but no one helped her. And then she moved to the USA where she got help and she got surgery done, over 33 surgeries for prosthetic nose. And she has shown so much strength, courage for the women of Afghanistan, and she's trying to become a nurse. And that shows so much strength that she's overcoming such a traumatic time in her life, that she can overcome it. And she's showing a positive side, that she can do anything, and is so courageous and really inspirational. So I'm trying to get people who are inspirational, who have done something for the Afghan community. But yeah, that's how I find them. It is kind of tricky to find them and reach out to them, but the hard work pays off.
Well, as you can see, with obviously with a lot of it, it's people that bring not only pride to you, that bring pride to your country as well. And I see that's why you want to show them and highlight them to everyone else in the world, because that's what's important. You don't want to just show, oh, this is any person. You want to show the people that shine, the people that have had such a bad experience and they're not letting that get to them. They're going to turn around and go, no, I'm still going to live my life and move on and bring the positivity to everyone else. Which is an amazing thing to see. So do you have a message for any of the men and women in Afghanistan at the moment that you want to get out there?
So to the men and women in Afghanistan, I pray that you're well and you're healthy. I want to let you know that we in countries like the UK that are away from Afghanistan, we do think of you, we do pray for you. We want you to be successful, healthy, and we always pray for a better Afghanistan, that we are together, unified and happy. So I do pray for the people of Afghanistan to be healthy and happy and to keep going no matter the struggles, because there's always hope no matter how dark it is.
That's brilliant. That's a beautiful message. So in the industry, how hard is it to reach your position? And obviously you faced a lot of obstacles, and what did you do to overcome them? Yeah,
definitely. Actually, I did receive a lot of recognition and awards. There was one West London Business Awards in 2022. They awarded me with the Young Entrepreneur of the Year award for Ariana Magazine, so that was a really big achievement for me. So in terms of obstacles, being young, out of university, without any finances, starting a magazine which had so much costs, and starting something new to build it up and raise awareness that there is such a magazine and such a platform for showcasing the Afghan culture. So initially it was quite hard to start out, but with anything it's really hard to start out. If you're really consistent and you put in the hard work and continue with that passion, there's always ways to build up and increase your position. So with anything, whenever you're low in life or whenever you start something with little experience, you have to gain more experience to reach up the level, and in return you would get recognition, you would work with different people, you would get awarded, for example, and I'm really thankful for all the positivity that I've been receiving.
So it's like until you've hit that obstacle and overcome it, then you can relate that experience later. It's the learning lesson of one, owning a business, but obviously operating within your industry at the same time. It's like I've had similar things as well, where every time I come to a new problem that I've never dealt with my company, I'm like, oh no. I get past it, I'm like, oh, that was just one other obstacle, a hurdle to jump over. But once you've done it, it's like the experience is nothing, and it just keeps on rolling.
It grows you as a person as well, and it makes you stronger, and you look back at that saying, that was nothing, bring anything on. So yeah, definitely.
I can see that you have a lot of tenacity as well, and which is beautiful, which I can see that you're not going to give up. It's only a failure until you quit, and I don't see you quitting anytime soon, because you want to spread your message, which is the most important thing. So what do you want to achieve in the coming years? What goals do you have?
My goals are a lot. So once starting Ariana Magazine, my aim wasn't just to have a magazine, it was more of a platform. Like I mentioned, I was the president of the Afghan Society. My message started since then, and previously as well. I always wanted to showcase the beauty of Afghanistan. And then the magazine was a physical aspect of that, which was correlating. And then after that, I held various events on a more wider scale. So I want to continue to have more events, and also a variety of different events for different people. Everyone's welcome. And also to have like a talk show and interview people, video platform. So the list is endless, but I do want to continue the message of Ariana Magazine and continue to grow that in different ways possible.
So obviously in the future, whilst we were looking to watch all your videos coming out as well. Obviously I do want to mention as well that you're not just a paperback, you are digital as well. So if anyone wants to obviously not be able to buy it, but you can look on digitally to find the magazine as well. Do you find the response between the digital and paperback a difference? Is it harder, easier?
So initially during COVID it was quite difficult, but as the magazine was listed on my website, people could get it delivered to their doorstep. So for myself, I like printed more over digital. I don't know about yourself.
Well, being of the business I am, digital was a lot for me. I can't help that though, because it's just easier for me.
I like to have like a physical copy in my hand to flip through it and be disconnected from your phone or any digital platform. So I do like having printed copy, but initially when I did start, it was kind of tricky. So I do have the digital aspect as well as the printed aspect. But also I have the magazines available on different bookshops. As well as the British Library reading rooms.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I bet that must have been a real accomplishment as well to have that in there. Know that anyone could be going in there and going, I want to read this.
Yeah.
So you have such a large audience at the same time.
Yeah.
So what do you see as success and tips for others looking to get into your industry, whether it be the magazine or the journalism side of things?
Yeah, definitely. Success initially, whilst growing up, whenever I had success, the image that would come was money. Amazing cars, houses, and so forth. But as I grew up, that went down. Success didn't correlate to that. Success initially correlated to your inner happiness, your contentment, your family, whatever made you happy. So that's the initial part of success, to be happy, to be content, to make other people happy, to not create any hate. Success means to contribute to others, whether that's form of charity, helping others, collaborating with others which have the same goal. So success in that terms means helping others and doing something good.
Yeah.
And it's not just about money, although of course money is an important part of everyday life.
I know what you mean though. When I first obviously started out, mine was like, yeah, I want to earn loads of money, like, I want to get the cars. But then as I started to go along through my journey, I realised success to me is enjoying. Every day waking up and doing something that you love is never a day of work. It's you wake up and you're like, all right, for me, what am I filming today? Where am I going? Who am I meeting? And you meet so many different people in so many different environments, which I guess you have a very similar thing as well, where you have such a reach to everyone. You must get a lot of messages coming in, as you said before, from people in Afghanistan, people around the world. And that is what I would see as success. The fact that you've had such an impact on people and you haven't just changed a few people's thoughts on it. You've changed a selection of people, and not just, let's say, nationally, internationally. Because a lot of people, without the magazine and being able to see it, everyone would keep that negative thought process. And with you doing this here, you're spreading the good, so people understand worldwide that never would have even noticed before. They would have listened to what someone else had told them, but you're in that opportunity to, it was like, no, there is good that comes from it. There's good that comes from everything. That's a great success. What tips, though, would you have for people to obtain that? So some of them, what I would turn around and say is finding something you're passionate about.
Exactly.
Enjoying what you do, knowing that doing a 9 to 5 that you're not exactly, you're dreading, but sometimes you have to get experience. And like you said, coming out of university, you most probably had to have a funded job as well to help fund to get where the magazine is. But when you got to that point, you knew that you were waking up every day and going, I'm doing what I love. Would you have any other tips for them?
Yeah, definitely. The first point you made is exactly what I would say, is do something you're passionate about, because every day wouldn't seem like work. You're really happy to do something that will motivate you to wake up and do something that you love. So do something that you love, pick a niche. For me, it's Afghanistan, so that's my niche. And then also just keep working towards that niche, whether that's making a magazine, whether that's video, whether that's food, or whatever content you want to create. Just keep doing the work towards it. So be passionate, be consistent, hard work, and just keep doing good whenever you're able to.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to highlight to the viewers about the magazine or yourself?
I don't think so. I don't know what to highlight.
Where can they get the magazines? Obviously, most stores and other places. Where can they find you online?
Yes, so my Instagram, Ariana the Journalist, or Ariana Magazine. My website, arianamagazine.com, is the main place you could get in touch with me.
Can we have a little sneak preview to who are you looking to go for next? Or am I not allowed to ask that?
That's a secret.
Damn it. It was worth a try. Okay, let's go back. Who would you say is one of your most favourite features then? Not to shun anyone else. You must have someone that just hit you where you're like, that was brilliant.
To be honest, so I've published 12 issues, and each of the magazines have 40 pages inside. So I don't know the calculation with that. So there's so much people that I've interviewed and covered. Each one has so much stories and so much inspiration you can get from it. There's so much, but let's say the latest one, Bibi Aisha, which I mentioned, her courage and her strength through the troubles and her traumatic experience she has faced. Also, there's the Black Swan. So this is the first sports car which was made in Afghanistan.
Nice.
Yeah, so this was a big achievement, and in Afghanistan there's lack of resources and so forth, a lack of finances and funding. So it was an achievement that, in such dark places, in such places which lack of resources, you can do whatever your mind sets forth. So these stories are really inspiration. I can't really say which ones are my favorite, but like I mentioned, I could pick out and talk about each one to you.
We'll be here. But like you're saying there, it's the Black Swan thing is a proof that anything is possible. If you put your mind to it with the minimalist amount of resources, perseverance, tenacity, and just the willpower to carry on, you'll get it done. And as you proved that with your business at the same time, which is obviously something very to be proud of. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much.
Not a problem. I'd like to say thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today, and obviously for the viewers watching as well. It has been a great pleasure to talk to you and learn more about your magazine and the help and messages that you're giving out to the world.
Thank you so much for your time and your questions. I really appreciate it.
No, it's not a problem. Well, thank you again. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.